My racing moment on Off the Ball.
And they're off.
Brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Share every racing moment. Visit HRI.ie.
All right, this is it. This is the final show before Cheltenham happens, and I'm delighted to say we've got about as good a guest list as we could possibly have. We've got Barry Geraghty with us, and of course we've got Johnny Ward, but it's all about you really today, Barry, to be honest. How are you getting on?
I'm good, yeah, thanks. How are you?
Good. I want to ask you about the anticipation that you would have felt as a jockey at this period where there's nothing you can do, there's nothing really you can except stay fit to make sure that you're actually going to be there when the first race goes to post. Was this a nervous time? Was it an exciting time? Was it anything? Were you trying to take your mind off it? How did you prepare for these last few bits before the actual proper action starts?
Yeah, so I would have always just treated Cheltenham in the build-up as if it was months away, and even on the weekend as if it's weeks away, until you get through your last ride on Sunday. Then, right, you're booked for Cheltenham at that stage, but not until then. You're not guaranteed, so you can't really commit your mind to it entirely. You'll be plotting and planning all the races, but you'll be treating it as if it's weeks away, as I say.
Was that like a superstition so you wouldn't get injured, or was it actually the only way you could stop yourself from getting too excited about it?
That was my way of approaching it, and then just not to buy into the hype and all the razzmatazz and everything, and back in the day of Moscow Flyer and papers and interviews and whatnot. So rather than get sucked into that, and a distraction really, so just block it out as if I'd always treat it as if, February time, Cheltenham's months away.
Right.
And as I say, the week before, until you get through that weekend, you're not there, and your horse isn't really there either. So it's just treat it as if it's in the distance.
So you kind of just lie to yourself a little bit.
Yeah, but that's something that I think an art I managed was blocking stuff out. So you block out pressure, you block out occasion, you block these things out because they can affect your judgment. And that was only my way of dealing with it. And I suppose pressure didn't affect me much for that reason, because I just had that sense of blocking it out and go into my own mind and do my own thing. But that's probably helped by the people you're riding for, who are not. So if you say Jesse Harrington or Nicky Henderson, JP McManus, those people wouldn't put you under more pressure than you already are. So you're the one who's putting yourself under most pressure.
Yeah.
And when you don't have external pressure on top of that, you can deal with that in your own way. The external stuff, if you have a difficult owner, difficult trainer, then you have a battle on your hands then.
Did you get better at that as your career went on, or was that something that you were kind of good at from 17 to 20 anyway?
I think it was probably something that I was good at. Just it happened that way. But it definitely, Jessie was brilliant for that, because when I got unseated off Moscow Flyer in 2004, she just said, "This silly old fool." Never once did she say to me, "What were you doing? What were you thinking?" And she could have, as anyone could have. Her champion is on the floor, and race that was, I won't say there for the taking, but yeah, he had every chance of winning it, but she'd never question any day. And it leaves the jockey in a more secure position in their own mind, because they're not second guessing themselves, anything they're doing. If you have a clear mind, you're clear in your plan, you know what you're doing, you have the confidence to change attack at any stage during the race to what you feel is best, because you come back in, you're not facing the firing squad. It's
mad how that kind of that it's not comfort, but it's you feel like you're actually being given the freedom to express yourself, as opposed to second guessing what's going to happen. Well, exactly. It's like asking Ronaldo or Messi, stay in the corner or stay wide or stay wherever. Instead, just you wouldn't give them any instructions. It's what Lester said years ago: a good jockey doesn't need instructions, and a bad one couldn't carry them out anyway. So, you have to trust your rider. But when you're riding for someone like that, and you're looking around the weigh room and you're seeing the fella or seeing the girl who's riding for someone who's got them under pressure, you can see it in their face, you see it in their body language, you can read it, and that they're in a shaky place, and decisions just won't come easy, and definitely answers won't come easy, and 9 times out of 10 when you're under pressure like that, you'll make the wrong choice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. One last thing on the build-up, like trying to block it out is all well and good, but there's countless and endless requests coming in to come to Cheltenham previews. Did you never do them when you were in your pomp? Was it only later on that you started to do them, or did you do them all the time and just still kind of going, it's funny they're talking about this race which is 6 months away?
Yeah, a bit like that. No, I always done a few, 3 or 4, tried to keep them local. So I always did. I'm heading down to the Hotel Manila to do one tonight, which I haven't done in a good few years. But no, I always did a few, and found them. You would pick up little nuggets of information from some of the good judges. You'd get a read on a race or a read on a horse, and you'd be thinking, oh yeah, I can see how that is, and you can get a little bit of information as a rider. But yeah, you'd still treat it as if this is weeks away. It's not. Cheltenham isn't there until you're in Cheltenham, really.
Yeah. Okay, that is interesting. I didn't realise that there was at least some value exchange where you are going and getting some information from somebody who you might think it's not just endless punters asking you questions and trying to put their pressure on your back as well. So just a reminder, this is Friday Night Racing and Off the Ball, brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Love every racing moment. Visit HRI.ie or follow the Twitter account at HRI Racing.
My racing moment on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by Horse Racing Ireland. Share every racing moment. Visit HRI.ie.